Hey guys, Anthony here, Bibles and Barbells. Another video today. Yesterday I was on a roll. I posted 3. Today I may post more. Um, and I'm posting these guys not to elicit, millions of views and things like that. Although I do like people listening and watching my channel. I don't post videos for shock value or anything like that. I post videos, mainly for myself. It's almost like a journal of what's going on at this particular time. And so I go back and I could watch older videos, whether they're prepping videos, Bible based, workout videos, politically motivated videos that I do. Whatever the topic is, I can go back and watch them and kind of figure out what was going on at that time. And so during this time, these very hard times we're going through right now as a nation, these times that will define us, can define us as a republic, and whether we stand or fall. These videos that I'm putting up are to document that, and so that's why I'm doing these videos. And so in today's video, or this video here, I just want to discuss some of the things that are going on, and I know there's, and I'll link a couple of channels that I watch in my video here that you guys should check out. I'm not affiliated with them in any way. I do watch them, and I think they're what they're saying is right on point. And but do the research yourself. We have undergone a collapse, a financial collapse, and with that, we're seeing people running to the banks and pulling out their money. We're seeing the stock market being artificially propped up by our government, by the Fed printing money, our government printing money, and by the trillions of dollars and pumping it into the system and artificially raising the markets, manipulating the markets. We're seeing multinational companies, huge companies, getting bailouts or asking for bailouts by the billions and billions of dollars. Look at the airline industry. Repurchased 45 billion in their own stock, and now they want 50 billion more from as a bailout. The banks are going to be bailed out. Now they're saying huge percentage of Americans are going to default on their mortgage because they cannot pay their mortgages. So they're giving some type of program that are out there for government-backed mortgages where you can, go 90 days, or actually I'm hearing now up to a year without having to worry about paying your mortgage. Those payments will be put on the back end, I guess, somehow. But what is that going to cause the companies that hold these mortgages? How is it going to affect them? They're going to need money from the government. It's a vicious circle, guys, and what's happening. There's millions of people out of work. People just wanting to go get food and water and the basics, let alone pay their mortgages, the electric bill, the water bill, the car payment. And so how can the stock markets be up during all this? People are not even coming out of their houses. They don't even know where maybe their next meals are going to come from. They're being scared out of their wits by this virus. They're being told not to social distance, businesses closing their doors, maybe never to open again. And yet the stock market goes up like there's nothing wrong. I don't understand the markets as well as many people. That's why I watch some other channels to try to learn. But I could tell you there's something big going on that's above my pay grade. But again, I'm going to stick with the tried and true things that I've been doing over the years, trying to get out of debt as best I can. Not perfect, but as best we can. We're doing that, and we're still doing that as a family, my family. And my wife spearheads that. She's super intelligent in that sphere. Where I may be better at something else, she's an expert on that type of stuff, financial stuff. Very, very blessed and God-given talent when it comes to that. And so I let her handle that because I know she operates that much better than I can. We complement each other in different avenues. But getting out of debt is super important. Having, say, no car payment would be a huge benefit right now, or a car payment that's going to be almost done soon, be a huge payment. We just paid a car off. The car I'm sitting in right now is a Mercedes-Benz GLK 350. It's nothing off the charts. It's nothing that's, keeping up with the Joneses. It is a Mercedes. It is a very well-built car. It runs and runs. It does the job. I'm glad I invested in it back when I purchased it, back in 2013, I think. The car's paid off. I own it. I own this car. It's an asset. I don't have payments on it, and it only has maybe 70,000 miles on it. And if you know a Mercedes GLK 350, talk to any Mercedes mechanic that works on these cars, and he'll tell you that they're built to last. I was told by one when I lived in Florida. He saw this car. He lived in the area where I lived. He said, do not ever get rid of that GLK 350 that you have. The car is a beast. It's made to run and run. Just maintain it, and it's made to run. And so I took his advice. I paid it off. So I'm not throwing bouquets at myself, guys, but I don't have a car payment on this car. The bug out van is almost owned. It's not quite owned yet. I'm just giving away some information here so you guys know some of what we've been doing. We've paid this stuff down. When we moved to Charlotte, North Carolina, I had the opportunity to buy a much bigger homestead. I could have bought something bigger with a much bigger mortgage on it. Instead, I opted for something with a much smaller mortgage. And family members critiqued me and said, oh, get this or that. You could afford it. Get it now while you can. And yeah, but you know what? And I told them, I was very, very adamant to our realtor and to family members that were pushing me to do something or to try to live beyond my means. I said, listen to me. I'm in my mid-50s. I don't need to keep up with the Joneses. I've been there, done that. I've had the big house, the 4-bedroom, 2.5 bath with a white picket fence when I lived in Florida and when I lived in Pittsburgh, when my kids were growing up. Been there, done that, guys. Don't need to do that now. I want my mortgage manageable. So if one of us is out of work, like it is now, with my wife being out of work, I could still float the mortgage and float this boat. So we have a modest mortgage, not like some people have, and I'm sure around the country that live in other areas. Maybe you have a $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 mortgage, a $700, $800, a $500, $600, $700, $800 car payment is many people have that right now, and they're going to be hurting. They're going to be hurting. Why? Because they didn't make the right moves. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses. They're trying to keep up with the show on social media maybe. Oh, I've got this and that. Look how good I'm doing. Listen, that's a show for somebody else, guys. That's not for me and my family. We're not into that. Actually, we never were into that. We lived in a society, people around us were doing that, family, friends, etc. But we never fell into that trap. And so those of you now that have a big mortgage, maybe 2 car payments, maybe 3 car payments, are going to find yourself, and then may find yourself in a lesser paying job or a job loss, or taking a salary cut. Who knows what's coming down the pike, you're going to be hurting. You're going to be hurting. A channel that I watch, and I'll post him, Jeremiah Babe's channel. I'll put him in the description box. Did a video yesterday, I think it was last night, where he talked about people in California, out where he is, renting their driveways out to people that are living in their RVs. So they're renting their driveway out for $1,300 a month. So you could go there with your RV, hook up to some utilities. I don't know if they've got sewer or whatever. I'm sure they got some kind of electric put in. Maybe they installed a 30 amp or 50 amp circuit to their house. And now you could plug in their driveway and pay them $1,300 a month to live in their driveway and use their water and electricity. This is what it's coming down to, guys. We are going to see, and I'm not making this up, I'm going by what some of the professionals are saying, a housing crisis in this country like we've never seen before. And I lived through the 2008 crash, and I lived through it in one of the worst areas of the country for foreclosures, South Florida. I believe South Florida and Arizona were the two biggest areas of foreclosures. I saw firsthand in my neighborhood, in and around where I live, people just walking away from their houses, leaving their houses. My neighbors just walked away from their houses and left them abandoned for the banks to take over, which caused the market to tank, which caused my house that I lived in to tank tremendously. I could tell you a story. We bought the house that we had in Florida, the big house we had, that basically my kids grew up in. We bought it, I think, in early 2002. And around 2000, and I'm going to tell you, it was probably in the $230,000 range, something like that. Nothing off the charts, but a beautiful house. 2 levels, 4 bedrooms, 2.5 baths, gated community, cul-de-sac, beautiful Florida house, palm trees, fenced-in backyard. I mean, beautiful. 24-hour gated guardhouse, a pool, lakes all around that I use my kayak in. That house appreciated, I think it was around 2006 or so. I started getting knocks on my door from realtors telling me that my house, they could get me over $600,000 for that $230,000 house that I bought. I kind of scoffed at him and said, I'm not really in the market to sell. And, when the market crashed in 2008 and our house dropped, we ended up selling our house in 2012 in a bad market. But we were kicking ourselves saying, if we only would have known back in 2006, I would have sold my house for $620,000. That it was appraised at $610,000. I would have sold that house, took the money, went rented somewhere. If I would have known what was going to happen in 2008 and beyond. So we ended up, we talk about it still to this day. If I only knew. We ended up selling our house in 2012, and we took a beating on it. When all was said and done, guys, we barely made, I think we made enough money to pay off a few bills and go out for a big dinner. So you could imagine what we sold it for. We didn't abandon it. We didn't go, we sold it. We weathered the storm. We made some money, broke even, basically, you can call it that, and we moved on. But and I feel for people that have these big mortgages and these big nuts right now that they're not going to be able to pay. They're not going to be able to weather the storm, and they're going to be out on the street or maybe living with their parents or other people, or maybe they're going to be the ones living in someone's basement or someone's driveway. I just cannot fathom what's going to happen moving forward. And so you have all these pundits, including the president, saying, oh, everything's going to go back to normal. When they say peace and safety, guys, that's when you have to worry. How it could be going back to normal, I don't know. With unemployment claims in the $10 million, the 10,000 range, 10 million range right now, jobless claims just pouring in, unemployment sites being, shut down. How you think things are going to go back to normal? How is a business that's been shut down for a month now, that's dependent on, traffic and people patronizing it, going to just start up and come back to normal? Maybe it had 20 employees or 10 employees. It may come back and it may have 2 or 3 employees. It's not going to be as easy as we think. So if over the years you've invested in or diversified yourself in the markets and not just put yourself on paper, because paper could become worthless, not just put yourself all in cash, because cash can become hyperinflationary, but maybe invested in gold and silver and tangible assets that you hold in your hand, which I have done. I don't think I've done it to the scope that I should have done it, but I did diversify, and I'm no millionaire by any stretch of the imagination. I consider myself just an average American family, middle-class family. I can weather a storm because of the prepping that I've done, not just with gold and silver investing, but with food and water and low payments and positioning ourselves for a time like this. And I don't think I'm still ready for what's being foisted upon us. Let's put it that way. I still worry and have fear that this is going to be really devastating to the American middle class. I don't see us recovering from this and getting back to normal. I hope that we do. And again, I hope I'm wrong, but I just don't see it happening. I think the globalists, those in our government that want to see us fall, are going to, they're going to get their way. They're seeing their way happen right before us. And, the jury's still out on Donald Trump, what he's doing. Like I said before, I don't think Donald Trump can save us. Whether he's part of the deep state or another branch of it, I don't know. The jury's still out on that. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt that he did do what he said he was going to do. But again, we see a president that in his last State of the Union address said socialism will never come to the United States of America. And basically that's what we have, guys. So that's just my 2 cents. I'm not a rah-rah, 100% on Trump's side, on Trump's camp right now. I got burned with George Bush being gung-ho for him when he took over, and he turned out to be just as big of a slug as Obama was. So I don't get on the political bandwagon because I know deep down inside I don't trust politicians. Let's put it that way. And I'll end this video. Fend for yourself, guys. Get yourself out of debt if you can, as much as you can right now. Position yourself to survive in this coming global collapse. Anthony signing off. Take care. Stay ready. God bless.